Hello everybody, Jake here for FM Scout, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a new feature on the FM Scout website, and that is the new page that shows all of the starting budgets, transfer and wage budget that is, for all the teams in the top 5 divisions in the world. I'm then going to take you to a team from each of the 5 divisions on Football Manager, ones that I found in the list that thought could make an interesting save, and talk about maybe how you could spend the transfer budget that they have. But firstly, we'll get the quick bit out of the way. How do you find this list? Well, all you need to do is head to fmscout.com. The good thing about this is you don't start up a save with, say, Leicester City and then find out they've only got £1 million to spend. With this, you can get an idea early on of what you're going into. That way you can pick a save that you already have fun doing. So all you need to do to get to that is to come down here, and you can see that we've recently added it in the club finder, FM21, starting transfer and wage budgets. You click into this and then you are taken to this page here, which tells you the top 5 leagues, all of their transfer budgets, but not only that, it tells you their wage budgets, their media prediction and their facilities, so you'll know what you're going into when you start up a save. So you know how to get it. I'm not going to ruin what's on the list because that's for you guys to look at, find out for yourself, maybe find yourself some surprises or a new team to manage. I'm going to take you straight into Football Manager and pick a few teams to try this out with. So here we are in Football Manager and we are with Crystal Palace. Now in this post-COVID world, pretty much every team, unless you're the big boys like Real Madrid and PSG, even their transfer budgets have been slashed a bit. But the majority of teams don't have much to spend. Like I said, for example, Leicester have £1 million, I believe it is. Even Chelsea only have around £12 million if I remember right. But interestingly, Crystal Palace have one of the highest starting transfer budgets in the game this year for the Premier League teams. And they really interest me because they're a team that for a while have just, I would say, I'm not a Crystal Palace fan, so if you are, don't have a go at me, but in my head, Crystal Palace have definitely stagnated over the last few years. I know they are probably slowly moving up the table, but they're just not really doing anything exciting, and I feel like us taking over the club with the right transfers could lead this club in the right direction. Before we get started with Crystal Palace, don't forget, if you do enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment down below who you've been managing or who you've found from the list, and subscribe to see the best Football Manager content. We've recently hit 100,000 subscribers, but we don't stop there, so let's keep pushing and hopefully you enjoyed the video. So if we go to the transfer tab, we can see that they have £22 million to spend. Crystal Palace are predicted to come 13th in the Premier League according to the media predictions. And we have £40,000 in the wage budget. We have a sell-on clause here on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now I'm going to sell this just so we have some extra money to spend in this video, and we can see we have £27 million now. So let's have a look what this squad might need. By the way, if you actually want to see how I manage a club in proper time, you can check out my channel. The link will be in the description. We're currently managing Chelsea over there. So if you want to see how we do that, want to see what I look like, then feel free and head over onto the channel. Now, from the top of my head, Crystal Palace aren't that blessed in the attacking areas. Yes, they have Zaha, so maybe we'll go for, well, apparently we're being recommended a 4-4-2. So you know what, let's just look at that and see what we have. Instantly, we can see in goal, we've got a decent option in Gaeta. Right back, we've got quite a lot of depth. Left back, we've got some decent players there too. Surprise Van Arneholt's only a 2.5-star player. Supposedly some good centre-backs, but looking at them two, they're both very old, Gary Cahill and Mamadou Sakho. And then midfield is just a bit boring. I do like Eze as a prospect. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he's been looking really good in the Premier League so far. But then apart from Zaha, you've got Maloya Vajay. You know I can't pronounce his name, but he scores penalties for them quite a lot sometimes. Koyate as well. And I think they just need a bit of an injection of a new star player. So we already have Zaha. Let's assume he's going to be on the wing here. I think Crystal Palace could do with a new striker and a new central midfielder. Okay, so after a quick bit of scouting and looking around for some players that we could use for this team, I've gone and found 2 players, 1 striker like I did say, 1 midfielder that can add just a little bit of extra creativity and spark to this Crystal Palace team, which means we won't have to focus so much on Zaha, and therefore hopefully he can shine a bit more when he's not got so much focus on him. So the striker I have identified is the Rangers player Alfredo Morelos. Yes, I know he's probably going to get sent off a lot with that 18 aggression, and I know he gets sent off a lot in real life too, but he is a very good striker and available at quite a snip. Not really all of our budget, but if we got him on the low end here of around 15 million, I think we'd be doing a pretty good bit of business. Therefore, we could sell maybe the likes of Benteke, get a bit of money in for him, and I think Morelos would be a big improvement and could really help this Crystal Palace team. And then for a midfielder slash attacking midfielder with a bit more flair and creativity, I have gone for Olivier Ncham from Celtic. It's another Scottish League player, the French 24-year-old. I was trying to weigh up whether to maybe get Edouard, but I don't think we had the funds for it. Now, I'm not saying we could afford both Ncham and Morelos. It looks like we probably could. Like I say, all it would take would be to sell a Benteke or something, get him off the books, free up some wages, and we could probably have both of these players in the team. And I think they'd be very good improvements on this ageing, kind of boring Crystal Palace squad. Okay, and now we're looking at a team that look like they haven't even been affected by COVID at all. It's Hertha in the Bundesliga. They're predicted to come ninth, yet have a £22 million transfer budget, one of the highest in their league, bar Bayern, I think. They've got a really good wage budget too, and do have the ability here to manoeuvre in the transfer market if they want to, which could lead to them really leapfrogging some competition this season because no one else is spending. Hertha can, they can improve their team and hopefully work their way up from a ninth place prediction to maybe into the Champions League spots. So how do we go about this? Let's have a look at the squad depth. This is the first time I'm seeing it too. Looks like we've got a good young striker here in Matthias Cunha, so we're going to keep him up front. Where are we lacking? Okay, I'm instantly seeing something here. CDM, we look okay. Defensive midfield, whatever you want to call it. Central midfield, maybe we could use another player in. Other than that, I would say, okay, I think what we need on this club is a new winger because for some reason our best left winger is also our best right winger. Yes, he's good, but we also don't want to rely on our best striker to be one of our wingers. So I think we're going to look for, what side does this guy prefer? He prefers right wing. We're going to go look for a left winger for this Hertha team, and maybe while we're at it, we'll find a central midfielder too. So the left winger that we have identified for this team is Jeremy Boga for Hertha Berlin. He is playing at Sassuolo, did come from Chelsea, is one of the brightest prospects in Serie A at the minute. He broke onto the scene I think last season or the season before, looks amazing, has some really good long shots too in real life, kind of reflected in the game, but he's basically a skillful, tricky winger who can provide a goal or two but can also finish his own chances. He's full of physical and technical talent and I think he'd be a really good winger on the left hand side for this Hertha team, and if we have a look at him, they only want around 10 to 15 million for him, linked with the likes of Manchester United, Leipzig, Villarreal, Wolves. You can see he is a very good player. If we can get ahead of some of the other teams in the division here and buy him, we'd be doing very well for ourselves. So I'm not saying we'd be guaranteed to get him, but let's say this is the kind of calibre we'd be looking at buying. And then in central midfield, we found Otavio from Porto. The Brazilian is running out of contract and therefore we can get him at a steal. He can play central midfield, attacking midfield, and offers us another option on them wings if we need it. If we ask the agent about his availability, they only want around £10 million for him too. Again, looking at the teams that want him, we can see this is probably the kind of level we want to get to. A lot of these teams are like the second, third, fourth best team in their division, which I think for Hertha in a season or two would be a very good job, and then eventually maybe one day take over Bayern. But there's a long way to go yet, but I think Otavio, seen as he's wanted by all of these big clubs, could possibly join us and help us out too. So they will be my signings for Hertha, and now let's move on to the Spanish league with Bilbao. Okay, so we're here with Bilbao now. They have £22 million to spend in the first season, again, one of the higher ones in the division, and they have £26,000 in wage budget. So if we allocate a bit of that towards the wages, because we're probably not going to be able to get that good players on that kind of budget, let's say around £20 million and around £100,000 in wage budget. Well, if you know anything about Bilbao, they can only sign players from the Basque area, so I think we might struggle in the transfer market, but let's have a look at what they need. Straight away we can see forward line we're probably sorted, Inaki Williams, Munayin on that side, and then Rahul Garcia up front. Getting a bit old though, so maybe it's something we can look at, although I think with Williams offering a option up front too, nothing to worry about there. Rahul Garcia actually is one of the best players in all the positions, so I'm thinking we definitely need a central midfielder because Munayin and Garcia won't be playing there for us, I imagine. Centre-backs are doing pretty well for themselves in Martinez and Uri. Left-back, Yuri looks like a good option. I think we're going to go for a central midfielder. Let's see if we can find one from the Basque area, see what we come up with. Okay, so this is going to look like a very weird signing, and I know it is. Let me just tell you that I would never want to be a Bilbao manager. I understand that they usually would buy young players, but for the sake of this video, we want someone who can help the first team out. And there's barely any options. I mean, literally no one on the market at all from the Basque area. The best we could find is this guy, and that's Javier Arezzo. He's playing for Legans. They want around 5 to 6 million for him. Hopefully we could knock that down a little bit. He'd be a good option in midfield. He's not going to revolutionise the team, and again is adding to that problem of having an age in midfield. But like I said, there's not really that many options. If I was spending longer with Bilbao, I'd definitely use this £22 million to buy some youth players kind of thing. I can see where they have a lot of transfer budget. There's literally no one to buy. If you're a Bilbao manager, let me know in the comments because fair play to you. I would not want to do this. So Fiorentina interests me as again, they're one of the ones with a higher transfer budget, but they're also only expected to finish 8th, which for me, I'm not going to say I know loads about Fiorentina, but I feel like in my head they could do better than that. You can see we've got 2 players leaving the club soon. I would hope that that money would go straight into the transfer budget, but Fiorentina have not got that much money to spend Although if we spend it right, we could hopefully try and like revolutionise this team and make them one of the better teams in Serie A. Now, let's have a look what they need. And interestingly, unless we sell someone, we can't move this wage budget around at the minute. So it looks like we will need to make some sales if we are to revolutionise this team with the way we want to play. So let's have a look at Fiorentina and what they might need. Well, straight away we can see that apparently the best striker is out on loan, so we're not going to go for a striker because it looks like they can handle it for now. Ribery on one wing, Callahan on the other. Not much depth outside of that. Bonaventura is an option on the left wing too. Central midfield looks kind of okay. Some depth in there with some players that aren't really spread around the team. Milenkovic is a good player I know from my Football Manager experience. Caceres, he must be very old now. Do we need a new right back? Yeah, there we go. Let's go for a new right back. Caceres is getting on. The best right back other than that is Milenkovic, who would ideally be a centre back. I suppose their goalkeeper position is fine, is it? I mean, I suppose so. Drakovski looks like a young, good goalkeeper, so we're going to go look for a right back and see who we come up with. So we have a few options. Obviously, we don't have much wage budget, so we might have to go for someone maybe on the younger side or on the really old side. So let's see what we can find. So I'm aware I'm going to get roasted in the comments for some of these signing picks. It all started off so well at Crystal Palace. Anyway, quite tough to find players with a low wage value that are also good for the team. So I'm thinking maybe buying someone young who can play back up to Caceres for a season and then eventually come in. Now it looks like this guy, Wilfried Singo, was one of the better options for his age. He plays for Torino. Doesn't look too bad in the mental and physical attributes. Could do with some work on his technicals, but he isn't fully scouted yet. Turns out we can get him for around £2 to £3 million for the wage budget of around £5,000 a week, which is almost what we have. If we were to sell a player off, we'd be fine. I think he'd be a good option. I did find another option at right back just in case, and that is Ryan Nyambe from Blackburn. Again, not going to cost too much, wage budget also low. He is a much quicker player, could add more excitement to the team. I mean, he's had 114 appearances. I think looking at our team as it is a bit older, we could do with a bit of speed on that right hand side, so we're going to go for Nyambe. Again, please don't roast me, I didn't have much time to find these picks. I'm literally going on and doing it as you see in real time pretty much. So that will be the end of today's video, just me showing how you could use that list if you wanted to on the FM Scout website. Hopefully you've had some fun looking at the picks that I've gone for the teams too. Again, I know they're not the best, you guys could definitely do better. I thought my Crystal Palace one was good though, I think I did well revolutionising Crystal Palace. But anyway, that will be the end of today's video. Hopefully you did enjoy it, got some use out of it. Go check out the list on the FM Scout website, I will leave a link to it in the description. Thank you for watching, thanks for all your support so far, and I'll see you in the next video guys. Goodbye.